actually see you now. You're live.
All right, you tell me when I can go live. I haven't got anybody yet, right? 42 seconds. We're into it. Can you hear me, Josue?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, so. I'm going to go ahead and...
Okay, you tell me when to go.
You're okay?
Okay, I'm on. Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Paul.DiGrigoli. And, I want to say to all of you that I really appreciate all of you that have taken the time to listen to what I have to say in the next 30 minutes or so. I'm basically going to be doing a program called Are You Running Your Salon or Is Your Salon Running You? And then in addition to that, I'm going to add to building your clientele and keeping your clientele. And because, the biggest concern right now, obviously, I want to say about the coronavirus is that, keep your hands clean and don't touch your face. Don't touch any part of your face. I think that's, one of the biggest things that they've been stressing all over the TV and all over the radio and everything else you can imagine. So that's one of the biggest things. But please don't touch your face and wash your hands constantly. I know it's gotten to the point where all of us really have really kind of washed our hands so much. It's just been incredible. But it's going to take a lot for us to get to this point, and I really want to. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I certainly want you to take a lot of notes, and I want you to jot down things that are really important to all of you, and take some action, because a lot of us during this time, this is a really good time to sit back and do a self-evaluation and to evaluate yourself and say, okay, where am I going to go from here? Because this is all going to come back in about 4 weeks or so. So I really want you to be prepared. And one of the ways to prepare yourself is, through habits. You got happiness, you got financial wealth, and you got time. And, time is really important. I always say that you can get more money, but you can't get more time. So how you spend your time is extremely valuable. And this is a time, maybe an hour a day, maybe an hour and a half a day, maybe 60 days of, on your personal development, really working hard on yourself. And you've got that much more to give back to your staff, that much more to give back to your clients. It's just a phenomenal thing. But I'm going to start the program, and I'm going to get into the program. And like I said, I really appreciate all of you joining me, and take a lot of notes, because I'm never going to tell you what to do, but I want you to take some notes that really might apply to you. One of our biggest thing is our clients. Are our clients going to come back to us? Are they doing, box colors at home? What are they doing? But I'm a firm believer, after 2 or 3 weeks, I think that you're going to find that it's going to be like Christmas all over again. They're going to flock into the salons. Our salon, for an example, is going to be opening up on Monday. So we're going to be working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday to accommodate all of our clients. And I think a lot of the clients right now, a lot of them don't look really good. They don't look happy. They don't look like they got their color done, or their roots, or their haircut, or whatever. But, some of you maybe are still doing hair at home. I don't know. But in any event, I think they're going to flock in, and I want you to be ready. So here's a big question we got to ask yourself, is that, are you running your salon, or is your salon running you? And I can tell you this, that the first rule in business, and that's the same rule as in life, you either adapt or you die. We're in a situation right now with the corona disease that's really alarmed us, that shut down the United States, that said, hey, listen, what are we all going to do? What are we going to sit back? We're going to the grocery store, we're going to Walgreens, we're going to CVS, we're picking up our prescriptions, whatever, stay 6 feet apart from everybody, but you got to adapt or you're going to die. So my recommendation that all of you adapt to the certain situation that is coming across a lot of us, that we really got to focus on our clients and how can we deliver to our clients and how do we give, ultimately customer service when our clients come back to us, because, understanding the value of a lifetime customer is extremely important. We think that our customer is just going to keep coming back again and again and again, but I think this is the most time that they're moving around and they're looking for other stylists. But I think if you give them great customer service and you give them exactly what they need and you adapt and you don't die, I think it's going to go to a whole brand new level. Now, I'm not sure with most of you of how you start your day, but now is the time to get into the habit, and I can tell you a lot of successful people really develop really good habits when it comes to focus on their clientele, being strong, being healthy, doing all the right things for our clients and for our staff. And, I know there's been a lot of people that have been on board that have looked for the SBA loan and the PPP loan, and I would highly encourage you to do that for all your employees. Some of you are self-employed, some of you are 1099s, others are W2s, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I would still try to get a loan that is forgiven, and I think that's really important. That's when we come into adapt or die. And then the other thing I think was the most important thing is that self-care is one of the most important things you will ever do in your entire life when it comes to your clientele. How you feel, how you work, how you deliver, what you do is extremely important. If you don't feel well, you don't do well. It's that simple. People that are sick don't do well. They don't feel well. And I think it's very important at this time to really take care of yourself. And, I know a lot of times that, when we're in this type of situation, we don't have any motivation. We're stuck at home. We're stuck behind closed doors. We don't have anybody to motivate us. But there's a lot of people out there in our industry, a lot of experts in our industry that are reaching out, that are giving free advice, that are giving free information to each and every one of you, which I think is absolutely critical. I think all of us can learn from everybody. We can learn at least one thing, or if anything can be triggered and say, wow, I forgot about that, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. And I think it's really kind of very, very important. So self-care is really important. Now, the thing that I want to talk about, and you hear me talk about this a lot in my seminars, and a lot of people do it once in a while, they'll do it once they get motivated, but they don't have it become part of their life. And I think it's really important of how you start your day. And a lot of times, especially in this type of a situation, we're trying to figure out how we start our day, how we start strong, what do we do? And, one of the things I talk about is a lot in my seminar is called monomaniacal focus. And that is to focus at one thing at a time. I mean, I know there's a lot of things on your plate. I know there's a lot of things that you want to do. But if you can really focus on the most important thing when you're at the highest state, when you're, you get up in the morning, your dopamine, your BDNF, you're really at a whole different state. So maybe for the first hour, I call it prime in, and you got to dial in for yourself. And then the second is to make your health front and center. And then, use food as medicine. I love coffee. I love great coffee. I'll have a nice cup of coffee in the morning. It's full of antioxidants. It helps you to focus. It helps to realign yourself. It's really a great thing. If you don't like coffee, maybe you want to drink tea. Maybe you want to drink green tea. So there's always an alternative for you to refocus yourself and maniacal focus. H2O is you want to exercise and you want to drink at least 64 ounces of water a day. And I can't stress enough, as many books as I have read, They say to drink at least 64 ounces of water, of spring water, not purified water. The only difference between spring water and purified water is purified water, you're low in alkalinity, and you have spring water that the alkalinity is a little bit more high. You have more minerals and you have more antioxidants into it. So I think it's absolutely crucial to drink at least 64 ounces of water a day. Pee as much as you can. Make sure it's nice and clear. It's not full of acid. It's not yellow. It's not orangey. And everybody thinks it's a big joke. But the first thing you do when you go to a doctor, the first thing they diagnose is whether or not when you go to the doctor, they want to see that your resistance is low, and you don't want your resistance is low. By drinking 64 ounces of water a day, it flushes all the toxicity out of your body, and it keeps everything really clean. HOT, the hour of power, 20 minutes of exercise, 20 minutes of good music. That's your first 20 minutes. So exercise, I don't care what it is. You might want to exercise for 10 minutes, or you might want to exercise for 15 minutes. That's fine. And then you have 20 minutes of planning, okay? And I think it's really important to plan. Like I do what we call a half-page plan, and I list the big five and the little five. The big five are like the most important things that I have to do for the day. The little five lead up to the big five, so I think that's kind of important. So, in any event, I think it's important to have a one-page plan every single day. So the first 20 minutes of exercise, use food as medicine, 20 minutes of deep rest, and then obviously 20 minutes of the hour of power, which I call a half-page plan. And then the last 20 minutes, and I really mean to take your time, for gratefulness and gratitude, because during all this controversy, during all these setbacks and obstacles and defeats and disappointments, we want to find out really what's working for us and how they really working for us. And I think that's really the key. And 20 minutes of gratefulness and gratitude. What are you grateful for? There's a lot of you that have family members that are healthy. A lot of you don't have the coronavirus. A lot of you go to the grocery store. A lot of you wear masks. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's important to have that last 20 minutes for gratefulness and gratitude, because we have a tendency to forget about that. All right, now the next thing I want to talk about is business development. And I think this is really important when it comes to building your clientele. And building your clientele and keeping your clientele. I can tell you one thing. I've been behind a chair for 25 years. I did 60 clients a week. Okay? And I've worked 60 to 70 hours a week. So I understand it. I understand what you're going through. But I think it's important that you take care of your customer. Every single customer that sits in a chair, it's you and your customer. Stay in your own lane. Don't worry about everybody else, and focus on your customer and talk about them. And I said this again and again and again, I really want you to understand the value of a lifetime customer. So business development, what is part of business development? How do you develop your business? How do you keep your clientele? What is your retention rate? What is your referral rate? What are you doing as far as pre-booking? A lot of times people don't understand this. We listen to it, but we don't understand that unless we actually do it. So your clientele is huge. It's going to be bigger and better than ever once they come back. Like I said to you before, it's just going to be like Christmas time. They're all going to flock to you. And I think that's the key when they come back. Take care of one customer at a time. Don't try to rush. Okay, and really take care of your customer so they continue to come back again and again and again and again. So if you have a female client, they're going to come to you 12 or 14 times a year. A male client is going to come to you 14 to 17 times a year. They get their haircut more often. They want a nice clean cut. Not all, but most of them do. So really take care of your customers. Do you really understand that you do 60 female compared to maybe 40 male? Do you do 70-30? I don't know. But this is something that you should find out, because you can build on this clientele, especially if you're doing the mother and the father and you're doing the children and you're doing the family. You should get the whole ball of wax, okay? Most businesses describe their business in terms of process instead of benefits, especially for your employees or your team. So how do you describe your business in terms of process instead of benefits? So what are you getting from your business? Don't just, I've been doing this for 47 years. And, I look at my staff. My staff is doing phenomenal. And all my students are doing great in my school. But the key is once you get out there and you've been doing this for 47 years like I've been doing it, there's certain things, there's certain people that have been doing certain things. There's patterns. There's habits. There's things that they're doing right. There's things that they're doing not right. There's reasons why clients are leaving. There's reasons why clients are staying. There's reasons why new clients are coming to them. There's all reasons for that. So you've got to look at your business and describe your business in terms of process instead of benefit. So what are you processing during this time? Secondly, what is the benefit of your business? What is the benefit of your business? A lot of times we want businesses. We want to own our own business. But most of the times we work really hard. We work 12, 14 hours a day. We work 7 days a week. We never lose our business. We never let our business go away. And I think it's important, it's extremely important for all of you to sit back, take a look at your business, and is your business running you or are you running your business? What is it? Are you in charge of your clients or you're in charge or your clients in charge of you? So there's a big difference. I mean, we are very valuable people. We're more valuable than a physician. We have a tendency to make people look good about themselves. And that's the ability that we have. We're not just selling a haircut. We're not just selling a color. We're not selling an ombre. We're not selling a biolage. We're selling feelings. And I'm sure at some point in your life when you were a kid that someone made you cry before. And I'm not saying that you actually bawled, but you actually had tears in your eyes when you left the salon because your mom, because your dad, because whoever brought you, and you said, don't ever bring me back here again because I cut your bangs too short or whatever. So I want you to think about that. I want you to be extremely sensitive to the client. What does the client want? Give the client exactly what they need. I think that's extremely important. Okay, next is identify the gap between where you are and where you want to go. Where is the gap? There's certain things that you're doing and there's certain things that you're not doing. My recommendation is maybe do one thing for maybe 21 days. Because if you do things for 21 days, in psychology they say that if you do it 21 days in a row, it becomes a habit. You don't have to do it while you're thinking about it. And then if you do 21 days to break a habit, okay, you'll get rid of that bad habit. So what are you doing right now that maybe is enhancing your ability, is enhancing your business? You do three things. I always say this. People have three superpowers. And the three superpowers are things that you do automatically that are effortless, that you put a lot of work into it. You work hard. You put your mind into it. You work hard at it. And I don't care what business it is. Okay? There's certain things that come to you naturally that you do. You might be a born salesperson. You might be the best communicator. You might be the best person that gives the best idea. I don't know what it might be, but what are the three superpowers that you have? You can't be all things to all people. It's almost impossible if you want to grow your business. If you want to stay small, if you want to stay as a suite renter or a booth renter, or you want a booth rent in a salon, but you don't want to grow people within your organization, then focus on many things, wear many, many, many hats. But I think for you to be what I call BIW, the best in the world, you got to be able to focus on one or two things. And I think that is going to be the big difference. I think that's going to be the game changer that's going to push you ahead, that you are the best in color. You are the best in haircutting. You are the best in waxing. You are the best in facials. You're the best in makeup. You're the best in nails. You're the best manager. You answer the phone the best. I mean, whatever it is, you got to decide on what that is. So I would find out, identify the gap between where you are and where you want to be, and then I would focus on that. But don't try to do 10 things. Try to do one thing. After this phone call, maybe you want to zero in on just maybe one thing and decide on what you want to do. Okay, increase the number of customers. Okay, that's business development. How many customers do you have right now? Now, they say that after 4 years, you should have at least 275 clients. okay? If you've been in business after 3 years. So 4, 5, 6 years, you should have an average of 275 clients. How many clients do you have? How many are female? How many are male? So that might be one thing that you want to jot down, that you want to go back and you want to reevaluate and see how many clients do you actually do. Now, you only can count your client one time if they come in 10 or 12 times a year. That's your female client. Now, if your male client comes in 12 to 14 times or 15 times, that's one client. But you should have 275 clients. When I go back after 47 years and I look at my roster, I can tell you how many clients Jimmy has, or I can tell you how many clients Jessica has, or I can tell you how many clients Michael Maricela had. I can tell you how many clients that they had. And for some of you, I want you to look at that to see how many clients that you have and how many hours that you work a day. Maybe you work 2, maybe you work 4 12-hour days, maybe you work 1 12-hour day. I don't really know. But take a look at that and evaluate that. So increase the number of customers that you have. Increase the average transaction. Now, when you talk about transaction and you talk about customers, okay, to increase your customer base, the way I look at it is that it's not through social media. Yes, you can use all the social media you want. I think it's wonderful. I think the social media platform works, but put your before and afters up there. But you're going to get your best clients from word of mouth. So one of the ways is to increase your new customers is through word of mouth. Work that you do absolutely beautiful work on every single client that leaves your salon. And then secondly, increase the average transaction. So I call it PCA, per client average. When you take a look at that, you might want to say to yourself, okay, well, I do $75 for each client that I've done. I've done 10 clients today. My average client is $75. Maybe you want to increase that to 85. Maybe you want to go to 95. I don't know. But, when you have the client in the chair, that's up to you. If you have an hour and a half with a client, maybe you want to do a client in between. Maybe you want to do a wax in. Maybe you want to do a beard trim. I don't know. But increase the average transaction. Okay, increase the frequency of repeat purchase. Get more residual value out of each customer. So increase more frequent visits. Okay, repeat purchases. So if they're coming in every 6 weeks, have them come in every 5 weeks. If they're coming in every 8 weeks, have them come in every 7 weeks. Not every client, but the clients that you know, the clients that you want to have come in, maybe the clients that you want to blow dry. Maybe you have a client that you blow dry every single week. You know what I mean? And maybe you want to add service to that. So the more frequently they come in, the more money you get in. And then also, you want to forget about the value of a lifetime customer, because that particular client could be a 5-year or 10-year client, and they could generate $10,000 or $20,000 every 2 years. So it's not unheard of. A lot of the stuff is common sense, and we don't practice it. We don't get into the habit. We get into a routine. Look your best. You know what I mean? When you see these clients that come into your salon, look your best. Be a superior product. We're in the hair industry. We got to look like a superior product. I mean, you wouldn't go to a dentist with rotten teeth, would you? No, absolutely not. So you got to look good. Just don't take it for granted. Okay, referrals. Okay, how do we get them and how do we keep them? Referrals is really big. And referrals is simply by being BIW, the best in the world. Anytime a client leaves your salon, your autograph is on their head. And I want you to remember that again and again and again and again, because at the end of the day, when it comes to your client, they want to feel good about themselves. They want to look good. Your job is to take 10 years off their life. And you've heard this before. The new 80 is the 70. The new 70 is the 60. The new 60 is the 50. The new 50 is the new 40. So 10 years, you got that capability. Make them look good. Make them feel outstanding. Make them and make sure they're able to duplicate what you've done on them. If they can't duplicate what you've done, you're in a lot of trouble. My guess is that they're not coming back to see you again. Okay? So let's think about that. Know why? Have a compelling reason to grow your business. Why do you want to grow your business? Are you in an apartment right now? Do you want to get a home? Do you want to get a new car? Do you want to go out to dinner 5 days a week? Do you want to be able to go to dinner 4 days a week, why do you have a compelling reason why you want to grow your business? Why do you want to grow your business? Are you doing 100 clients a year? Are you doing 125 clients a year? Are you doing 150 clients a year? How do you want to increase your business? And don't forget, you make money every single day. Every day you make money, whether you realize it or not. They give you a tip. And the bigger the tip, the better they love the service that you've given them, the more you've made them feel good about themselves. Okay? Marketing. 2 reasons to spend money, and that's pretty simple, and that is to keep the customers that you have, spend money on them. Now, I don't recommend that you advertise and you say to clients, for all new clients, we're going to give you 10% off. What about the clients that have taken care of you? A lot of times people will go after clients that they haven't had or they haven't done, and they'll reduce their price. My recommendation is that you focus on your clients that you have right now. Keep the customers you have. I think that's really important. Wow them to death. Make them feel special. Make them feel outstanding. Don't do it just once in a while. Do it every single time they come into your salon. And then you want to acquire about new customers. And one of the ways to get new customers, like I said to you, you can do all the advertising that you want. You can advertise on the social media platform, and I want you to. And I don't discourage you from that at all. Put your before and afters. Tell them what you're doing, why you're doing it, educate them, give them a little bit of education. But I think the most important thing is to wait to acquire new customers is to do absolutely beautiful work. Your autograph is on their head. They're walking around the grocery store. They're walking around Walgreens. They're walking around CVS. They're walking around Target. They're walking around. Your autograph is on their head. Do absolutely beautiful work. The minute that client hits the floor, their feet hit the floor, that's it. It's over with. And, you did a great job, or you did a bad job, or you were tired, or you were negative, or whatever. Don't forget, when your clients sit down in your chair, my philosophy has always been, know more about them than they know more about you. And they really want to know. Of course, they want to know how your relationships are. They want to know what's a good place to eat, and so on and so forth. But they want to really try to get into your head, and they want to know what happened 6 or 8 weeks ago. And forget about that. Just move forward, and that's really the name of the game. They're paying you, and I think that's the key. Okay, marketing. Okay, and I want to slow this down, and I think this is important. 97% of businesses fail because people think businesses can't run on its own, especially with social media. So your platform is Twitter, it's Facebook, it's YouTube, it's Instagram, it's all of that. That is what your platform is. You should be hitting every single platform that you possibly do, without question. But 97% of businesses fail because people think the business can run on its own. It can't run on its own. You got to keep the momentum going. You got to stay motivated. You got to stay encouraged. You got to take as many classes as you possibly can. I'm talking about education. I'm talking about training. I'm talking about going out and learning as much as you can. There's some good seminars and there's some bad seminars. We all know that. But it's all what you put into it. It's all what you decide that you want to put into it. And I think it's important that for all of you to go into it with a mindset that you're going to walk away with at least 10%. There's something that you got to walk away with that either you heard before, that you're not doing it, or you haven't heard it before and you want to do it. Okay? So my recommendation is peel it back and do one thing at a time, and add that to your repertoire. Add that to your ability. Add that to your technique. Every single one of you are wonderful hairdressers. You're wonderful business people. You're wonderful managers. You take care of your customer well. But there's times that we begin to peel it back, and we get tired. And yes, we get tired from working. But at that point, you got to take a break, and you got to take a time out. So 97% of businesses fail because people think that the business can run on their own, and it can't. 97%. It's only 3% of the business that are successful, and they're usually the big boxes or the giants that really make that work. Okay, now I want to talk about this, and a lot of times we have a different definition of customer service. And we talk about customer service, and we always ask ourselves, what is customer service? Is it all the time? Is it once in a while? Some of you have been doing hair for longer than I have been doing it. And some of you still have the same clientele that you have. They either died, or they went away, or they moved, or whatever, but most of you still have the clientele. And that's really a good thing because you really understand the value of a lifetime customer. But what is customer service? And customer service to me is a wow factor. And a wow factor is if you go to Disney World, and most of you that gone to Disney World, you see a wow factor. Wow. You know what I mean? There's Mickey Mouse. Wow. There's Pluto. Wow. There's Minnie Mouse. There's Goofy. It's such a wow factor. You all know this, that they don't allow any gum in Disney World whatsoever. They don't want you to step on gum. They don't want you to encounter it. They don't want to do anything. There's certain things that they do, certain fundamentals. So we can take a piece out of their playbook and decide on what we want to do as far as when a client comes into our salon, how we want to treat them. How's the receptionist treating every single client? Are they asking them for water? Are they asking them for coffee? Are they asking them for soda? Are they giving them a smock? Are they giving them a magazine? I don't know. But one of the things that most of you might want to start on is that you might want to have a staff meeting and you want to go over the rules and the regulations of how your receptionists are creating a wow factor and making that customer feel outstanding. And you all know this, it starts in the shampoo bowl. And if you're letting somebody shampoo for you or you're shampooing yourself, give your client a good shampoo because it starts there right from the beginning of how well you put them back in the chair, how well you put their neck back in the chair, how you clean the neck of the sink out, make sure there's no color on it, make sure they don't get a color on their shirt. Believe me, I've gone through all that. I've paid for many shirts. Paid for many smocks. I've gone to the cleaners. You name it. Okay, I've done it. Okay, 47 years. So you got to create that wow factor. 10 times factor, give them 10 things, and then give them, like I would say give them 8 things and give them 2 more. And that wow factor is address the person by their first name at least 4 or 5 times. And I think that's really important. Say thank you. Say I appreciate you. Those are the key words. I'm sorry. These are the things that are the little things that make all the difference in the world. I think the 10x factor is a big factor when it comes to customer service. Now, what is the difference between what I call a raving fan customer and a satisfied customer? And, you can read this book by Ken Blanchard. He wrote a book called Raving Fan Customers and Satisfied Customers. And I took a piece out of his book. And a raving fan customer is you do all the little things that make the customer a wow factor. That really gives the customer a good feeling that they want to be here, they want to spend the money, they want to do what they want to do with you because you've created a raving fan. A satisfied customer will leave you. Mark my word, they'll walk across the street, they'll do whatever they got to do, they'll leave you. But a raving fan customer is you go the extra mile, you give them the 10x factor, and you give them the wow factor, and you call them by their first name every single time. And if you don't know their name, you learn their name, say it again and again and again and again. You might say it after every sentence, whatever, but get to know your customer's name. When they walk in the door, you address them by their first name. Experience equals success. So the amount of experience that they get from the minute they walk through the door, from the minute they leave the reception desk, everything in between is the experience. Make that customer feel good. Disney World does it. They're a perfect example. They make their customer feel good. And it doesn't matter whether ice cream cones are $35 or snow cones are $25. It doesn't matter. They're getting the experience. They're in Disney World. Make them feel like their experience is off the charts and you will create success. Leadership, I can talk a lot about this, and I will in one of my programs. I think most of you know that I'm going to go 8 weeks, and each Tuesday at 11 o'clock, I'm going to do a certain segment from each one of my CDs that I have. I have 10 CDs that are in my disc pack, and then I also have my book called Book Solid, The Ultimate Guide to Keeping and Getting Clients. But leadership is so important. Every single one of you are leaders. whether you lead your team, whether you lead your client, whether you lead your salon, whether you lead the salespeople. You are really defined as a salesperson, and I don't want you to be held hostage to your chair. I want you to run your business, and I don't want your business to run you after today. And I know this is a lot of information to digest, but I want you to think about it. When we talk about leadership, leaders do three things. There's the hardest things in the world. One is steel, diamonds, and the third is knowing oneself and really understanding who you are as a person, what you do every single day, what your outcome is, and where you want to be 50 years from now, 40 years from now, 30 years from now, 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 5 years from now. You're going to arrive. The question is when. And I want you to be a successful hairdresser, and I want you to be a successful owner, and I want you to do all the right things. And there are the right things. There's enough information out there for everybody. I don't want you to get caught up in all the minutia. I want you to get caught up in all the things that you're doing right and all the people that you're making feel good about yourself. I know at one point some of you've got a email, some of you've got a text message, some of you've got a card in the mail. I know I have from a lot of the clients that we touch their heart, and I think that's really big. But being a good leader, you're a leader every single day. You got to walk your talk. You got to be an example. You got to do the things that other people are not willing to do. So being an effective leader, I think, is really important. You're not the boss anymore. You're the leader. You're the leader of your team. You're the leader of your clientele. And how you conduct yourself on a daily basis, I think, is an important thing. And it takes one step at a time to be a great leader. And a leader, every single one of you is leaders as far as I'm concerned. Average employees, then you have great employees. So your average employees come to work just for the paycheck. They have no desire, no team. They don't have any new things. They don't read. They resist change. And I think change is really good. In business, we got to change. Every once in a while, we got to change. We don't like it, but we got to change. And don't be plain. Be a little bit more avant-garde. Be a little bit more artistic. Be a little bit more creative. And I think that's kind of important. A great employee loves doing great work. They're consistent learners. They constantly and continuously learn. I call it CANI, C-A-N-I, constant and never-ending improvement. I live by that word daily. I have it on my refrigerator. I have it in my bedroom. I have it in my office. And I try to find things every single day. How can I improve upon? You know what I mean? And CANI is a really good word. C-A-N-I, constant and never-ending improvement. Read regularly. I don't care if it's a half hour a day. I don't care if it's an hour a day. Read a good book. You don't have to have low self-esteem. You don't have to have low self-confidence to read self-help books. There's every single book you can possibly imagine out there that will help you grow and develop and become more. And I think more significantly than that is to really kind of understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it. And give yourself a break. Take your time out. Go for a walk. Go for a bike ride. Go for a run. Go for a ride in your car. I don't know. But there's certain things that you should do that, you should discipline yourself to read every single day. I read every single day in my life. I got 3 books going right now, and I just at least an hour, maybe one's just 1 page, maybe 2 pages, maybe it's a chapter, depending on what I'm getting to. And I take notes as I go along and as I highlight as well. I think that's really important. And then you've got to embrace change. I think you've got to embrace change. You got to understand why they're changing, why they're doing this, and don't be so negative when it comes to individuals. I think you got to understand the reason why they're doing what they're doing and why they're saying what they're saying. So listen, be a good listener. I grow big ears when it comes to my people, both for the salon, both for all my instructors, for my admissions, and for my salon team as well. I grow big ears when it comes to them. I want to learn as much as I can. And when you think you know everything, it's time to learn more. And I try to learn as much as I can, even at my age and me being in the industry for 47 years. There's always something I can learn from other motivators, from other educators, from other people that are teaching. they're phenomenal people, and they all have something great to offer. There's no question about it. Leaders development. As you climb the ladder, you will always feel arrows of critics. As you continue to climb the ladder, you're always going to have your naysayers. You're always going to have your toxic people that are going to basically they're going to say, no, that's not the right thing. That's not the thing that we're going to do. But it's important to do the right thing, and I think that's really important. When it comes down to, there's a big difference between actually doing it yourself and watching somebody do it. There's a big difference, and doing it yourself, it's not as easy as everybody can think that they can do it, but they can do it. Legendary leadership, I call it servant leadership. And when you're a servant leader, you always put your people first, and you always provide opportunities for people within your organization. That's a servant leader. You always put your people first, and you always provide opportunities for people within your organization. And I think that's extremely important as a servant leader. There are many, many definitions of a servant leader, but I narrowed it down, and I made it very slim, and I made it very lean. When it comes to servant leadership, you always put your people first, and you always provide opportunities for people within your organization. And that goes with your clientele just as well. Okay? Entertain them, have fun with them, laugh with them, be serious. But at the end of the day, once their feet hit the floor and once they leave, then that's a game changer right there. That's whether or not you're a servant leader or not. Leadership, great leaders have a coachable spirit. And I think that's important. When you have a coachable spirit, it's relatively pretty simple. So you take the word coach, C-O-A-C-H, coach, and what does that really mean? Okay? So you care about your people, you care about your salon, you care about your organization, you care about your clientele. Then you observe. So you're not going to always get people that are going to be happy. You're always going to get people that are depressed. You're going to get people get sad. You're going to get people that are toxic. You're going to get people that always look at the negative side of things and not the positive side of things. So you've got to observe as a coach. And when you observe, you got to tread lightly. You can't just come on as strong as you think you can, especially if you're a type A personality and you're not a B personality. A personality, you got to back off a little bit, especially when you observe. Okay, so C-O, so you coach, you care. O stands for observe, and A stands for you act. So you act upon the situation. So a client might be a great client. They might be a client that's toxic. They might have a death in the family. They might be losing their hair. They might be having radiation. They may be having chemotherapy. You don't know. So don't ever act upon a client. I would listen very carefully. Listen, ask, then listen. I think that's really important. We don't have a tendency of listening very well because we're thinking about what we're going to say next. And I think that's really important. Challenging. Yes, at times it's going to be challenging. The conversation is going to be a little bit different, but I want you to adapt to the conversation. I just don't want you to just roll it off your tongue. I want you to listen, and I want you to digest, and I want you to understand, and I want you to think. And I think that's important. So please, please, please think when it comes to your client. And then obviously that's your C-O-A-C, and then your H is help. Help your client. If they're depressed, help them. If they want shorter hair, help them. If they want a balayage or an ombre, help them. Help them get what they want. Make them feel good about themselves, and they will continue to return again and again and again and again. Next in leadership, which I think this is kind of important, and I wanted to share with you the 4 motivators to retain staff. Now, could be 8 motivators to retain staff, but these are the 4 that I've selected. These are the 4 that I look at my own organization, I look at my salon, I look at my school, and I say to myself, okay, what are the 4 motivators that really motivate an individual? And I look at myself too, as a person, what really motivates me. One of the things that motivates me is growth. And it doesn't have to be financial growth. It could be my health growth. It could be my sleep growth. It could be me eating better than I've been eating before, and I just don't grab snacks. So growth can mean a lot of different things. Secondly, recognition and acknowledgement. And I think that's important. So you got to recognize and you got to acknowledge. And don't be phony, be sincere. When you see somebody that's got a great outfit on, or you see somebody that blew dry their hair, or you see a lady that put her makeup on, or see you a guy that has a new outfit on or a new pair of shoes, then acknowledge and recognize. Same thing with an employee. If an employee does something for you, if they shampoo for you, if they get a towel for you, if they get an applicator bottle or a bowl for you, then acknowledge them, thank them. Remember, the two most important words in the English language are thank you and I appreciate you. And a lot of times we have a tendency to forget about that. Training and education, that's one of the biggest motivators. And I would recommend, I try to attend every 90 days outside of my industry, okay, and 30, 60, 90 days internally in my industry. So I'm constantly watching educators. I'm seeing what they have to offer. I'm seeing what they have to give, and they have got so much to give. It's amazing what our industry is made of. I think there's 1.7 million licensed hairdressers in the United States, and I have to tell you, I mean, there's a wealth of information that each and every one of them have to offer, especially the icons within our industry. You can learn from them because they're on their way back. You're moving forward, and I learn as much as I can, and I want you to do the same exact thing. And then obviously morale. You know, morale is a big factor. You're always going to hire negative people. You don't know what you're getting after 6 months or a year from now or 2 years from now. You don't know. This person changes. You have no idea. You only can assume. But you've got the skills. You understand really what the morale consists of, and you want a high morale. You want to have energy. You want to have passion. You want to have fun. You want to listen to good music. You want to keep things moving. You don't want things to be silent. You want things to be dead. But there's other people that are type A personalities that rather keep it quiet, you know, and not too loud. But talk about it amongst each other. You know, talk about it. You know, that could be part of your staff meeting. You know, what kind of music should you learn? And I know everybody says, "Well, let's listen to country music and let's listen to top 40 and rap and so on and so forth." And that's a lot of controversy as well. But be middle of the road. Maybe you want to do country western for a week. Maybe you want to do top 40 for a week. Maybe you want to break it up, you know, and make everybody happy. And I think that's the key. Is try to make everybody happy. I know a lot of times people say that you can't make everybody happy, but I think for the most part, if you ask them, they'll respond to you. And then after they respond to you, if you listen to country music for a whole week, they say, "Well, what are you going to listen to this country music for?" Well, that's what you decided that you wanted to do. So you can't send us a mixed message. So I think that's really important. I think communication is vital when it comes to staff meetings. I mean, communications is all about staff meetings as far as I'm concerned. You know, communication is the key. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. And I want to say that again. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. And I think that's really the name of the game. I want to talk a little bit about culture and the value of a winning team. The winning circle is huge when it comes to culture and value. The winning circle is you all have collective responsibility, your unselfishness. Don't be selfish. Be unselfish. Pride and honesty. Shampoo for somebody. Be honest with the person. Tell the person the truth. If you haven't eaten, go back and eat. Let them know that. You know, don't assume anything. Okay? And then excellent communication. So the winning circle is collective responsibility, unselfishness, pride and honesty, and excellent communication. I can't stress that enough. How important to have excellent communication, and that all starts with your staff meetings. So when this thing turns around and you have 2 or 3, the first thing I want you to do, and it's entirely up to you. Remember, I wouldn't tell you what to do, but I would suggest that you have a staff meeting, get everybody together, okay, and have collective responsibility with each and every one of your staff members. And what are we going to do different? What are we going to do better? how are we going to wow our client, and how are we going to get our client to come back again and again and again and again. And don't forget, you're going to raise your prices in October, not in January, because we're all broke. That's Christmas time. April 15th, no, not when we get our taxes back, okay? July 15th is the extension now that they extended it that we can go to, okay? But you want to raise your prices October 1st. Every October, how much? Right across the board, $2 to $5. You're going to see that over and over again. And I want you to do that. I don't know how many of you raised your prices in the last 2 or 3 years, but you're worried about your client leaving you. They're not going anywhere. You know, if you give value to your customer, more than ever, they will never leave you. Ever, 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 ever. And they will pay for $2 to $5 across the board. Mosquito power, and that is if you think you are too small to have an impact, which you are, every single one of you can make an impact. I don't care what level you're on. If you're a junior, if you're a senior, if you're a master, if you're elite, I don't know what you call yourself, but every single one of you, the victory comes from the people on the front line, and everybody makes an impact. Try going to bed with a mosquito in your room and see whether or not they have an impact on you or not. As small as they are, they'll drive you nuts. And they certainly drive me nuts. But I want you to think about that. Everybody makes an impact within the organization. The last thing I'm going to talk about before I go into the 9 granular steps is hiring. And I think by far this is the most important thing in any business that you can possibly do. And that is hiring. We hire haphazardly. We hire on a shoestring. We hire in desperation. Most of you tell yourself a story. There's no good stylists out there. There are. You need to go to the school. We have graduations. We have over 300 people that come to our graduations. Maybe 3 or 4 stylists show up salon owners because they're too busy. They think they're too busy. And my question is that you can't be too busy not to go because it's a perfect interview. And you might interview 5 people, you might get 1. You might interview 10 people, you might get 2. You might interview 20 people, you might get 1. But it doesn't matter. You constantly and continuously have to go to the schools. They're out there. There's a diamond in the rough. They will find them. You're not going to find them every way, and you got to make the time. You can't afford not to make the time to go out if you want to build your business. If you've got 5 chairs and only 2 chairs are being occupied, then you want to book the other 3. The easiest thing is to go booth renting and go suite renting, and there's nothing wrong with that. Believe me when I tell you. That's the easy way to go. But to get your anatomy to one of the schools and to do a presentation and tell what your salon has to offer, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of effort. And believe me, I've done that for almost 30 years, and it's a variable, hard work. It's not easy, and you got to be consistent. So talk to your guidance counselors. They're not always going to tell you the truth, but go visit them, go email them, talk to them, find out. The more they see your face, the more visible you become, the more they'll get you involved because they want to get you involved with the career days, and they want to get you involved with the job fairs, et cetera, et cetera. Hiring, go to war for talent. Potential and experience. It doesn't mean that the person has potential or experience. It doesn't mean they're going to fit into your culture. They might have a bad attitude. They have a coachable spirit. And I went over the coachable spirits, what it takes to have a coachable spirit. They got to be coachable. Count your numbers. Also count your talent. So, are you really counting your talent in your salon? Who do you have in your salon right now that's really good? Who brings the most value to you? Who comes in with a great attitude, who dresses for success, who answers the phone properly, who's the first one to sweep the floor when they're not busy, or they just run away. I don't know. And then obviously, that ties into behavior and what is your behavior like. And here's the key word. You got to be consistent. If you're not consistent, then you're not going to follow through. You've got to be consistent in what you do. And that's really the name of the game. Be consistent. 9 granular steps to never forget when you become successful. So I know all of you have been successful. You continue to be successful. You will continue to be successful. You still will fight and you will do whatever it takes to build your clientele, to take care of your customer. I know you will. But there's certain things now that we can peel back and we can zero in on our 3 superpowers and ask ourselves, what do I do effortlessly? What do I enjoy? What do I really enjoy when I go to work, when I open that door and I walk through that door? What is it that really lights me up? So here are the 9 granular steps to never forget when you become successful. Because when you become successful, it's easy to slide back. It's easy to take advantage of the situation. When you become book solid, when your salon is flourishing, it's easy to become and to forget all the things that took you to get where you got today. And that takes a lot of effort. It takes a reminder again and again and again and again. All right, so 9 granular steps to never forget when you become successful. And A is become more humble. Become more humble than you ever did in your entire life. Take care of your people. Be humble. Be real. Be authentic. Be yourself. And I think that's really important. So to become more humble. Number 2, work harder than you worked before in your entire life. And when I say that, if you really enjoy what you do and you love what you do, you'll never have to work a day in your life because time disappears. When you don't like, when you're doing something, time is forever. When you do things that you love to do, time disappears. So I think it's important for you to continue to love what you do. Find those 3 superpowers that you love that you do. Number 3, care more about people. Care about your people. If you have a problem with an employee, pull them into your office. Talk to them. What's troubling you? What's upsetting you? You know, do you still belong here? You know, you're thinking about going someplace else. Be honest with that person. It's not as easy as you think to run your own salon. It's hard. It's invariable. Hard work. There's a lot more than your name painted over the front door. And being an entrepreneur is a big difference than being a hairdresser or being anything else, a consultant or working at Target or wherever you work in, a sales consultant. It doesn't matter. It's invariable. Hard work. Okay, give more than anyone else and be an effective leader. You heard me talk about leadership. You heard me talk about being a servant leader. Be a servant leader within your organization. I think that's really the key. So I want you to be a servant leader. Put your people first and always provide opportunities for people within your organization, and you'll have a thriving business. There's no question about it. It's up to them. Once the client is in the chair and they're behind the chair, it's up to them to get that client to come back again and again and again and again. It's got no responsibility on you other than you creating the environment and you creating the atmosphere. So give more than anyone else. Work really hard on your body and your mind. You know, whether you're beside the hair industry, you got to take care of yourself. People who don't do well don't feel well. So I'm encouraging you to take care of yourself. It starts with food first. Use food as medicine, and then you exercise. You can exercise all you want in the world, and then you can go ahead and indulge in food, and you can put those calories back on again. It's not going to make you feel good. You know what I mean? It's the little things that make the difference that give you that energy and that passion. If you look at any successful person, you know, they'll tell you that they work the first half of the day, you know, probably from 7 in the morning till probably 5 in the afternoon, and they work from 7 o'clock at night until 11 o'clock at night or 12 o'clock at night. They work. So they work a double shifts, you know. Care more about your product, okay? I don't care what product that you're using. Make sure that you're using the right product in your salon. I think most of you have realized now that I came up with my own product line called Paul Joseph Pro. It's 13.5 ounces. You get 3.5 ounces more. It's all organic. It's paraben-free, gluten-free, sulfate-free. We got 8 pieces in the line. It took me over 25 years to develop these products of being behind the chair and asking my clients. They work. The price point's right. You'll never find it on Amazon. You'll never find it on QVC. You'll never find it in Rite Aid or Brooks. It gets it directly from the salon. We've got like over 42 salons right now that we're in, and we're climbing And because our packaging is 50% and the other is the juice in the bottle, it really works and it's very concentrated. Okay, so care more about your product than anybody else. So whatever you're using, I want you to analyze it. I want you to analyze what's on your shelf. It could be anything that you could possibly think of, but I want you to analyze it. I want to see if you're getting your bang for your buck from all your salespeople. You're getting your education. You're getting your training. You're getting product knowledge classes. All those things are important. And you should only have about 3 lines in your salon. Any more than 3 lines, I think you're overdoing it, because people are only going to pick 1 or 2 or 3 items from each line that they love. And then the rest is going to sit there and collect dust. So it's costing you money. So I want you to think about that. Something to think about. Be the best in your industry. You hear me talk about this a lot. BIW, the best in the world. And be the best in your industry. And it could be those 3 things that you're the best at. There's enough people out there for everybody. You're not going to make everybody happy. You're not going to make everybody fulfilled. You're going to make people cry. People are going to leave you. Don't take it personal. Okay, just do the best that you can do, but be the best in our industry. Be the best. Be the BIW, the best in the world. And then stay on fire, and I think mostly have fun. Go into work, have fun, continue to love what you do, because you'll never have to work a day in your life, and stay on fire. Stay on fire is through education, it's knowledge, it's all through your social media platform. It's people giving back as much as they can give back to, and you can take whatever you want and you can apply it to yourself, and you can run with it if you'd like, or you can say, I've already known that, I've already done that. That's a good thing, as long as you're getting a result. That's the name of the game. Nothing works unless you do the work. So you gotta put in the work. It's imperative that you put in the work. Nothing works unless you do the work. And it's invariable, hard work, especially the first 5, 10, 15 years. I nearly killed myself, and I'm being honest with you. I just worked myself to death and worked and worked and worked and worked and worked and worked more and worked more, and 7 days a week, and just kept going and going and going and going. It hasn't been up until probably the last 15 years that I've really enjoyed running the salon and running the school and having really good people that work for me within the organization, and they're good people. They're just great people, and you can do the same exact thing. You know, a lot of times we always look for the easy road, and it's not easy. There's a lot of setbacks and obstacles and defeats and disappointments that we come across, and being a hairdresser is not easy. But we got to end up with more than a varicose veins and hemorrhoids. We got to end up being on the sunny side of things. We just don't want things to happen to us. Okay, so become more humble. Work even harder, care more about your people, give more than anyone else, work really hard on your body and your mind, care more about your product, be the best in the industry, stay on fire, and have fun. Nothing works unless you do the work. So I think that's it. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate every single one of you being online. I hope you walked away with a wealth of information. Next week at 11 o'clock, I'm going to talk about the secrets of the best stylists in America. I've interviewed some of the best stylists in America. What are their secrets of the best stylists of America? Do they love people, never lose a client, sustain motivation, maximize request ratio? And that's going to be next week. I'm going to do a nice series on that. And it's 5 after 12. I know I was supposed to only talk for like around 35 minutes, but I just wanted to give you the wealth of information. I'm going to give you the best of what I've learned in the last 10 years in my disc pack. And I'm not asking for your email address. I'm not asking you for anything. I just want you to be successful. I want you to be extremely successful and do what you do. And just take care of your customers. Take care of the people that you work for. We know there's a lot of jibber jabber out there. There's a lot of minutia out there. But you're smart enough to sift it out and take the best of the best, because there's a lot of great presenters out there. There's a lot of people that have been doing it for a lot of years. They have a lot of experience, and I want you to indulge in all their experience. I want you to take advantage of this downtime that we have, especially the next 2 or 3 weeks, and take advantage of the SBA loan and the PPP. the self-employment loan. If you're 1099, if you're a W-2, whatever you might be, take advantage of it. The worst case scenario is you get no for an answer, and then that's big deal. It's not a big deal. I'd rather see you get no for an answer than not try at all. Okay, so right after this, I will do questions and answers. I'll go back to all your comments that you made, and I will look at them, and I will send you my input and give you the best mileage. Remember, I don't know everything. I've been at this for 47 years, so there's really not too much I've seen. I've owned a salon, I've owned a school, and I've been behind a chair for almost 30 years, doing 60 clients a week, so there's not too much I haven't seen, and I absolutely love this industry. It's an incredible industry, and for those of you that are younger, what an opportunity for you right now to really excel and to make some great money and to live a lifestyle that you dream of. So I want everybody to have a great day, have a great week. Don't watch too much TV, maybe 2 hours a day. There's a lot going on, but stick with it. Stay in your own lane and take care of your client. Okay? Thank you very much for listening. I really appreciate you, and I will talk to you soon. See you next week at 11 o'clock. Secrets of the Best Stylists in America. Have a great day. Love every single one of you. Take care. Bye-bye.